So just like every other week, we've been talking about these YouTube videos that The Chosen has been putting out week after week. There's a lot that can be learned, not only about season 4, but also biblically kind of what's going on in season 4 as we get into it, or at least guessing what's upcoming. Now, this week's video is actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of little tidbits, including stuff from Joanna and of Salome, not the mother of James and John, but actually the woman who is kind of responsible for the death of John the Baptist. So let's jump into this YouTube video and talk all about it. Here we go.
It's going to be a stunt. It's going to be great.
Day number 1 of filming in beautiful Utah.
Are you keeping him there for the close-up? You're staying there?
Yeah. The Chosen's filming in the middle of nowhere. And there's Jonathan way up there in the distance. The camera here on this hill is shooting Jonathan really far away over there on that hill.
Action. Little ants way over there working their way to set, because that's about the closest you can get. You could come closer right here, but you have to climb up a mountain. So we bring as minimal out here as possible, which is hard to do when you're a 150-person crew.
I think it'll look better if right off the bat you're wandering a little bit, like you were once Adam said action again.
So this is a scene that we've talked about a little bit.
Now,
but I'm not like 1,000% sure what this could be. So like we see here, we see Jesus like, you know, on this random hill out in the middle of nowhere, but we're not exactly sure what this could be. My like wildest guess, which is like a 1 or 2% like guess, would be that he's being tempted in the wilderness. This is a flashback. My more realistic guess is this is just some pickup shots of Jesus being in the wilderness, talking to the Father, preparing himself for the triumphal entry and everything else that's happening later on, right? So that's kind of my more realistic guess, is that it's just some pickup shots of him in anguish by himself out in the wilderness. Kind of makes more sense to me. This does not look like the Mount of Olives at all to me, so I don't really think that's it, but it could be anything. I don't think it's anything super biblical that I'm thinking of here biblically, but let's keep it going.
So it's like they're getting set up for a scene here. We had a different scene over.
Oop, why is it doing that?
okay. Now we got to do the close-up, meaning all the stuff that was lugged out here to the middle of nowhere now gets re-lugged all the way over to where Jonathan is. Field and Jesus. Intriguing. What do you think's going on? Let me know in the comments.
I already guessed, Chris. I already guessed.
Then we go down to this incredibly beautiful ravine on this super narrow road that, you know, might have been a little bit swampy.
Get out of my swamp.
There are more mosquitoes here than you can imagine. Like, seriously, imagine however many you can and know that it's more than that.
If you take a pause for "You're the closest thing I have to a father now," that's nice.
Hey everybody, like, subscribe, and comment below, or else I will betray Jesus.
This is so horrible. Like it's funny, but it's like the most horrible like and subscribe little section here. It's okay. We'll watch it. Here we go.
Right, it's up to you. You have the power right now. You can make this all go away. Like and subscribe right now. Do it. Or else it's right there. It's right there.
What's he saying? It's all lies.
Nothing. Rabbi, it's so good to see you. Anytime can happen anything. Oh my goodness, did you do something new with your hair? You look lovely.
So on the call sheet says second unit today.
So I looked at this as well. So Chris is talking to Mitch Hudson, who's the second AD. He's also the creator of the Promised Land series that we're kind of checking in on periodically. He's created a pilot for that series, and he's trying to pitch it at this point. But I tried to look at this. I tried AI enhancing this image. I can read some of the stuff. So if we look over here, a lot of this section is all the actors and actresses. So, for example, I can read Liz Tabish, Mary Magdalene. We've also got a bunch of other people that kind of show up in this scene here, but it's just blurry enough to where you can't really get all the details. So, for example, this section up here is sharing about what these scenes are and all of that and kind of what's going on in them. But this section over here actually shows you the episode/episode scene, right? So episode 4, because it starts with a 4, episode 8, because it starts with an 8. We've got episode 411, 300, and 304. And so we can kind of see what those things are, but I can't see everything because the lettering is too small, and even like an AI enhancer can't show me. It just kind of messes up the letters rather than making them clearer. So anyway, I tried for you guys, but let's keep on going.
Second unit basically means that while the main unit is going, filming the primary portions of what we're getting today, a small group are going off and just getting some scenes that we don't need everybody for. There's a sequence of someone who's racing in a carriage. They got some stakes going on, trying to get there by daybreak.
Yeah, so this is Joanna. We know this. We've seen Joanna. This is her kind of mission from Machaerus to go to Capernaum to let everybody know what happened to John the Baptist. So she is racing across, the place. Probably not as fast as they did in season 3, because in season 3 they teleported back and forth. The timeline there was kind of weird if you haven't seen my videos on those, but very fast. She's in a cart. She's in a carriage, driving super fast from Machaerus over to Capernaum to let everybody know what happened.
We have a carriage, we have a stunt team, we have a couple horses, and we're just going to be racing down the road.
That is terrifying, though, for real.
I'm here with Joanna. I am Joanna's stunt double for this scene. I am in the carriage, so you're not gonna see my face, but we're gonna be off in the distance, and it's gonna be fast paced, horses going, dust blowing, and it's gonna be awesome. I put on pads on my elbows and my knees just so that I don't get banged up in the carriage. Other than that,
I'd be terrified, bro. That looks terrifying.
just hang on and go.
Part of getting what we needed to get was getting, I'm so sorry, one second. Go for me. We needed to get I'm so sorry. We needed to get approval from Dallas and Akis. Wasn't easy because they weren't on set with us. So while we were on set, I recorded the playback of the takes that we got on my phone, but usually I would get some notes back from Akis. We would work on a second take with those notes. It was a little complicated, but
I don't remember what was happening this week. This was like a little over a month ago, I think, in real time. I don't remember what was happening this week that Dallas wasn't on set for this. I don't know. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video and you're not subscribed, we'd love your help to try to pass Rabbi Jason Sobel in subscribers. We're pretty far behind, but with your help, we could do it. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
we got it all.
And now we're gonna film the amazing dance scene, the dance scene that leads to the end of a certain character. Hoping to talk to the choreographer and the dancer. No, not that one. That one.
I dance with a Christian dance company. One of the big dances that are used to band dance in the church is actually this dance. For me to step into this, also being a professional dancer that's like fighting against that, how am I gonna do this while not allowing another level of justification for pastors to be like, this is why we're banning the dance, dance in the church.
This is really interesting. That's a really interesting take that he has there of why they would ban dance in the church and how this would be one of the reasons for that. I mean, I could totally see that being the case, because this is like, obviously dance is evil. It led to the death of John the Baptist, but I think that's such a logical fallacy. Like, it's such a bad take. But I do understand how he's coming from that and how he's trying to, get rid of that stigma. I get it for sure. But this is going to be really cool to see Salome for the first time. This is the woman who is kind of behind the death of John the Baptist. We also see a bunch of different people that are here, including Herod Antipas and Herodias and Pilate and Claudia and Joanna and Chusa. And so there's a bunch of stuff that's happening during this banquet. It's going to be really interesting. One thing that I do see is Salome is not as promiscuous as I thought it was going to be. Maybe The Chosen's doing like a PG version of this, but I imagine that Salome, her dress, the way that she's doing everything, her dance, everything is going to be like hyper promiscuous, right? Because Herod's not just going to give half of his kingdom to a great dancer, right? It's for other reasons. Like, we could definitely read that. Like, we can see that in scripture, right? We're going to take a look at the scripture again in a second, but it is interesting what they're kind of doing here overall.
Another level of justification for pastors to be like, this is why we're banning the dance, dance in the church. In my mind, when I see this scene, I don't think it's just like, that was a pretty dance, take half my kingdom. Herodias probably planned this for a long time. He was like tranced into spiritual oppression.
Breyer, you have this amazing dance history.
World of Dance was such a fun experience. I mean, obviously very different than something like this. It's very like competition driven.
Never seen it. I don't know if I've even heard of this show, to be honest with you.
And 6 months of like drilling and training, and obviously you're finding out if you're making it to the next round, like on the spot. But it is the first like real dance I feel like that The Chosen has ever done, which is also such.
What are you talking about? We saw Andrew dance in season 1. There's been some real dancing for a long time, you know?
A big deal. Been in TV and film and have had scenes and like characters where dance is involved, but not again this type of storyline. It's like so deep and there's so much meaning behind the story, which hey.
Thank you.
I got
Thank
you.
you for pretending.
I
like the show.
I love the show. I'm really excited to be able to bring this to the screen and hopefully it inspires and motivates some people.
And background. Right.
Wait, hold on. Is this Matt?
Hey! Matt Nelson.
Matt! Where's Dana?
Good luck for you, brother.
He's right over there. There he is.
Are you guys?
So if you guys don't know, these are the musicians that write all the music for The Chosen. They are actually the ones that work on The Shift as well. So they're doing all the music for The Shift, which is upcoming, I think, at the end of this year, maybe beginning of next year, something like that. They're really great composers, musicians. They're part of bands and have been doing this stuff for a long time, obviously. Dan especially has been in, I believe he was in Jars of Clay back in the day. So, yeah.
Finally on the show?
Believe it or not. Yep.
Whoa.
We're in a band.
Is this your real hair?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Tyler, one of the writers for the show.
Oh, perfect.
Well, I think we're going to be pantomiming. This has choreography attached to it, so we have to make sure that it's exact, which would be really hard to do if we had to capture it live on set. Mom, I'm on The Chosen.
We've got dancing, a Fast and Furious carriage, and so much more happening. What can next week possibly bring to top all of this? The gates of hell.
Oh, no, this is spooky.
That's so scary.
Not ready for this.
You would not want to miss that, so make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to find out what's happening next.
Very cool. So there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about with the Gates of Hell in another video, but for right now, I wanted to go back and see if you guys even noticed something that happened pretty early on in this video. As Dallas is talking to Rayma, did you catch what he said to her? Because this is a pretty massive piece of season 4, if this is the case. Let's listen to this.
However many you can, and know that it's more than that.
If you take a pause for "You're the closest thing I have to a father now."
If you take a pause for "You're the closest thing that I have to a father now." So this is Rayma talking to Jesus, and she's saying, "You're the closest thing I have to a father now." So this gives us one of two things that could have possibly happened, right? For Rayma. One, her father is dead. Or two, she has abandoned her father to the point, or he has abandoned her to the point of like a Matthew situation from season 3, where he's disowned her, had a Shiva for her, and she's no longer part of their family, right? I waited to the end of this episode because I wanted to see if any of you actually caught that, what he said there, and heard the implications of that. Because it's a pretty big deal, right? Like, we saw that Rayma was going to return in episode 1 of season 4, and most of us were like, wait, huh? Like, how does that make sense? Because, I mean, realistically, she's like, she shouldn't be there. Like, she's a single woman. Like, there's no way that her father would allow her to travel with this company. Like, it's different with Mary Magdalene. She doesn't have parents. She's older. Tamar, kind of same thing. Her parents are dead. But Rayma, her dad is alive. At least her dad. We know that her dad is. But we don't know exactly the situation there. So did he die? Like, what is going to be the story of that? And how is it not like this massive earth-shattering thing for her and her family? My guess is that he's probably not dead. My guess is that she probably wouldn't travel if he was dead, because she would take care of the vineyard and everything like that. My guess is that he disowned her in some way, or she's saying this line, "You're the closest thing I have to a father now," because he's basically saying, if you go, you're on your own. Like, go do what you want to do, but you're going to be on your own. Like, basically, I won't help you. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there seems to be pretty heavy implications to that for sure. But real quick, let's dive back into the scripture, talk about John the Baptist's death one more time. talk about this dance that's happening. And of course, we see that Herod, the Tetrarch, Herod Antipas, heard about the fame of Jesus. And again, he's talking about, he had heard about Jesus and he thinks that he's actually John the Baptist resurrected. He thinks that he's a resurrected John the Baptist. And he's like, how could this be happening? Because I killed John the Baptist. But of course, we see this later. Prompted by her mother, she said, give me the head of John the Baptist. And this is Salome here, Herodias's daughter. And so, yeah, it's an interesting thing that's happening here. We know about the banquet. We know about the dance. We know about Herodias's daughter, Salome, who is the one that dances at this party and asks for John the Baptist's head. There's a lot that's going to play out here. And I think basically what we're seeing as far as the evidence we've seen so far, we know that all of episode 1 is going to be wholly focused on John the Baptist. So I think this is going to be like nearing the end of episode 1, we're going to see the death and we're going to see everybody reacting to the death of John the Baptist. It's going to be pretty intense because it's going to set the season off on this really, really high key note of like, you better watch out because things are getting very serious. Last season, we saw that things were getting more serious, but like we didn't see any deaths, right? So are we going to see Kafni's death? Are we going to see John the Baptist's death? I don't know. Yeah, Vicky says maybe it's because her father is just not there. This is a possibility as well, but it seems very strange that she would word it in that way specifically. You're the closest thing I have to a father now. She didn't say right now. She didn't say at this moment, right? She said, you're the closest thing I have to a father now, implying that before it was different, but now at this time, you're the closest thing I have to a father. So it's a little bit different. Just the way that it's worded leans me more towards something happened or there's implications there. Yeah. If disowned, there's still hope for him to become a believer. Yeah, very possibly, for sure. I'm still not sold that Rhema and Thomas are even going to get married because I think Thomas has to have some turmoil somewhere, and this would be the perfect way to give him turmoil in order for him to become doubting Thomas, right? So I'm still not sure about that either, but you know. Hope you like this portion of our live stream, and if you want to see the full live stream along with full podcast episodes, go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thesnipelife. That's the best way to help support us on this channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.